Welcome back, guys. This is Doug with Basement Level Magic. We have just started round 2 and our opponent won the die roll, so I'm waiting to see if he chooses to go first. I don't think I've ever been put on the play in Battle for Zendikar. Even though I think when the Goldfish statistics came out, it was like just slightly, probably not significantly, but it was just slightly in favor of being on the play for winning games. This is probably just fine. We got a 2-drop that fixes for another color should we need it, and we have a 3-drop and I'm sorry, we have 2 4-drops, I guess, but depending on what kind of pressure we're under, this could be okay. I think I'd rather have a land heavy hand than a land light hand with this deck, just because so many of the cards come down in our threats. Another blue deck. Blue-red, alright, probably devoid. So we will get a Courier Griffin down next turn if our Beast Color Savant... I probably should have attacked. If our Beast Color Savant survives. Not used to a Mana Dorks having haste. I suppose he's deciding if he wants to touch the void the Beast Color. If that's how he wants to spend his turn, it really doesn't make any difference. And if he takes his turn now and gives us 1 extra turn to play mana, it's essentially the exact same thing as if we played it early. We took a turn of his, and we removed a premium removal spell. It is kind of a bummer that he took out our color fixing, but still. So we'll see what he plays, and that's how we'll decide if we want to go Courier Griffin or retreat. Alright. I suppose in that case we want to play the... What do we want to play? Probably the retreat, since we want to be able to pump our team, since they'll be weak. And there's no pressure on the board right now, so we're not really worried. I see why the games went so long in my previous round, though. The opponent's tapped out. I don't know why he's not clicking. But, oh well. Let's see what kind of threat he comes up with. Will the Mogger Claimer return Touch of the Void? Sure. That means we probably don't want to play the Courier Griffin. We'd be happy to play a Tajiru Beastmaster next turn, though. Especially with landfall, so we can play Unified Front this turn. Retreat to Emiria can pump them next turn. Yeah, so I think the correct order to do this in is to play the Unified Front. Play a land, put a 1/1 ally onto the battlefield. I assume my opponent attacks into this. Somewhat wishing I had pulled a Fellow Archive at this point. Sure, why not? Get in for 2. Alright, so we'll play the land. Give all our creatures +1/+1. Play the Beastmaster. Giving all our creatures +1/+1. And attacking for 8. He may decide to touch the void here. On a core. Nope. And we can continue now for at least 2 more turns. Oh, well, that's sort of a bummer. But we still have 1 more of them in the deck and the Warcaller. It would be nice to stop drawing lands at some point. But I guess we'll just keep making allies until we get a way to pump them. That dampening pulse really does shut us down pretty good. Sure, Waveling Elemental is fine. So Evolving Wilds allows us to pump our team twice. Does that do anything for us? I don't think so. Except create 2 allies, hoping that next turn we can. No, I think we want to save the double landfall for a turn where we want to pump twice. This turn we just want to go ahead and make another ally. I assume he'll attack with just the Waveling Elemental. Sure, Slide Runner's no problem. Valkyrie's no problem. Forest is a problem. So what happens if we pump and attack with everything this turn? So we double pump, so we attack with a whole bunch of 2/3s, 6 2/3s, he can block 3 of them. So we get through for 6 damage, and we clear, well, we kill 2 of his creatures. Or we simply wait and do it next turn. Because we can play the Courier Griffin and a land. Gain a little life. Another ally. Next turn we attack with 8 creatures. Just gotta make sure we don't die. That's the only thing. He may touch the void the Courier Griffin, which is kind of why I've been holding it. Yeah. No tricks, okay. Yeah, no reason not to. Alright, so it's actually quite a pump. Opponent is tapped out. This will be a swamp. Opponent goes down to 3. And we're dead. It was risky, but he got us for Xaxes. But it's just a terrible draw. We got totally flooded, and we still almost won. Possible we could have waited one more turn, but I think we were just running out of life total, especially if he hits landfall. I think the deck is good. I don't know that there's anything we necessarily want to change. The Oran Reef Invoker definitely looks good, though, if we're in trouble, because we get flooded. So maybe there's a point to putting one of those in. We have yet to see the Grove Tender Druid, so the Bone Splinters feels a little weird in the deck, although it would have definitely saved us there. We have all of the tokens to sacrifice, and if we had just killed the Wavewing Elemental, I think we would have had the game. Let's go ahead and submit and run it back. To be on the play. We got our mana. We can play a turn 5 Beastmaster. If we hit one more land. 2 more lands. But we have all our colors. If we're in a panic, we can play Bone Splinters. I think we're good. Playing Outburst is a good card to have around, just as a backup, in case we do get totally outmatched or the board reaches that kind of stalemate that we were kind of at last time. I hate to get ingested, though. I know he has a Merc Strider. But it is nice to see a Plains. And again, this may just get a touch of the void here in a minute. And we're 1 mana away from, well, I guess actually next turn we could play the Planar Outburst. I would really like the opponent to commit more to the board if that's going to be the case, though. So the Druid makes for a much better Tajuru Beastmaster, but the Courier Griffin blocks the Mist Intruder. So I guess we'll just play it, gain some life, and go ahead and attack. Plus, it's something I don't mind losing if we do decide to planar outburst, which is now online. I'm trying to do a little damage, and if he sits back for a couple turns and just develops his board, it's just all the better for us. Maybe he does nothing. So we don't have the mana to pay for the Grove Tender Druid. Well, we do, but I'd rather not use the Lifespring Druid to play for the Grove Tender Druid. If we can help it, I'd rather somehow find a way to attack. We're still 1 mana short of the Beastmaster, so we're at a point where we either want to commit further to the board or and maybe not planar outburst and try to win the game, or just kind of like sit back. And one thing we could do is just play like a Blade Whirl. Which does let us get in for 2 more damage. I think we'll just sit back and wait. He's bound to play something here eventually. We're still at 19. Ouch. Royal's Retribution would have been a good one. We're still at 19. I'm tempted to wait 1 more turn. Since he has ingested twice, he's used an Exert Influence. I mean, he's emptying his hand of some really powerful stuff. Then again, we play the Grove Tender Druids. He is tapped out. We can attack in with First Strike and create a ally. Yeah, I'm just going to sit back 1 more turn. And this is maybe a questionable play. But I want to get as full of value as I can off the planar outburst. And I think he probably plays something this turn, since he plays the ingest. And if he bounces something with the Merc Strider, we're in even better shape. Yeah, play a big 6-drop. Gaining back Exert Influence. Well, that's sort of a bummer. So I guess we need to play something that is big enough that he wants to steal it. I mean, I could planar outburst and reset the board, but then the first thing I play, he steals. And I do have a way to take care of it. So maybe I planar outburst, follow up Grove Tender Druids. Next turn, he casts his Exert Influence on my Grove Tender Druids. I use my plant token as a Bone Splinters, and then we're back in line. Right? Interesting that you killed a core blade whirl, but alright. So next turn, Grove Tender Druids. Zada. I don't know that that changes the plan, really, does it? I guess I do want to change the plan. I want to give him the Night Watch, so I keep the Grove Tender Druids. And until he casts his Exert Influence, Zada's kept back. Because I have a 5/5 that blocks the 4/5, no problem. As long as it's not flying. I haven't seen any reason to believe he should have life deck in a blue-red deck. Or life gain, sorry. Exert Influence. No, Clutch of Currents. Really? So take 6. Alright. See if he steals the Grove Tender Druids. So we want to kill Zada. Seems like the bigger threat. Another Awaken card and we could just be dead though. Touch of the Void is fine. He's saving his last card for a lethal attack. Which, no matter what I play this turn, he can just steal, right? So 6 mana, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I was holding a land, I might consider something else. Ouch. Take 3. I don't think there's any way around playing that there, though. Go to 4. See what his follow-up play is. Mist Intruder. That's tough to block. And I think he exiled my Royal's Retribution, one of the Unified Fronts, the other great. Wow. He got some good hits. Plains doesn't seem to help much. Probably should have held the plains just in case. But I think we're done anyway. He has 7 mana available. Titan Coils. This still blocks. Definitely, it's like blue-red control. I don't know why he's playing. I guess he's playing red just for Touch of the Void. So far, it's almost a mono red deck. He hits a forest, which is fine. I don't want a land at this point. Well, I get one anyway, so. And around a 3-turn clock. One blockers is another, to be honest. Probably a Colostri Healer would be the best draw, as it would allow us to gain some life. He sped up his clock by 1. Unified Front, ouch. Swamp doesn't do it. Well, that's too bad. Oh, geez. All this time I had a Colostri Healer in the graveyard. Oh, it has to be alive. Alright, never mind. Never mind. I guess I could have had the Beastmaster, though, back a couple turns ago. I thought this returned from the graveyard. Not something I generally play. But, yeah, nothing we can do. So that'll be the match. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Madug with Basement Level Magic.